3 goals, 1 assist for Zach Hyman, 14 bags filled with over 1,000 hats. It's been that kind of year for Zach Hyman, gentlemen. Why wouldn't he start the playoffs with 3 goals and an assist, Pierre? Just a massive game from a guy that has come up massive for this team, and that line overall was huge for the Oilers tonight.
Picking up where he left off in the regular season, career season, starts off with a hat trick in the playoffs, and he has been clutch in the playoffs for this team ever since he came over from Toronto. One of the great free agent signings of the last decade in the National Hockey League continues to pay off. And I love the comment from Connor McDavid. Zach Hyman, one of his great talents, he gets lost in coverage. He says that's a skill perhaps that fans don't appreciate.
You got to get available to make those plays, and Hyman gets available, especially on the back door. Now, McDavid was brilliant to hit him with those plays, but Hyman, you still have to convert, you still have to execute, and he was able to do that.
So a big storyline coming in was all about this 1-3-1 and can the Oilers break it and all. It didn't really feel like that kind of a game. I mean, Chris Knobloch even talked about it was more about broken plays than it was about systems tonight. But Pierre, fair to say some self-inflicted wounds discipline-wise by the LA Kings that bit him.
Yeah, big time. And Jim Hiller said he agreed that at least 2 of those 4 penalties he thought lacked discipline. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Dubois on McDavid, the first penalty of the night, and probably more on Desharnais. That was a dangerous play. Kings can't do that. I mean, this is the playoffs. You're the underdog. And you know, especially if you're targeting 97 on the Oilers, the refs, are keeping an eye on that. So LA has got to bottle that up. And Connor McDavid, I thought, had a great comment. He said, listen, we've shown maturity in that department over the years here as a team. We had discipline tonight, and that's important for us.
You take penalties, guess what happens? The Oilers go on the power play. They were 3 for 4. They had different looks. They moved the puck around. They were able to convert. Obviously, early in the third period was the dagger, the Draisaitl down low, one-timer underneath the bar. So you give the Oilers too many opportunities in the power play, they make you pay.
So Stuart Skinner, everybody knows, wasn't a fantastic playoff last year. He had the whole season to think about it and get ready. He comes out tonight, Jamie, and I know the stats maybe aren't the greatest, but that's a goaltender that met the moment tonight.
I thought he was really sharp. Now, if you just look at the stats, to your point, .891 save percentage. Well, there was a couple moldy goals, we'll call them, where there's 2 go off of skate. Cody Ceci, his stick blows up. So those are 3 goals against that were unavoidable. But Skinner was rock solid when he needed to be, especially early in the game where LA did have some good looks. So I really liked what he brought to the table. He was calm. He was quiet in the net.
So the Oilers, bit of a curse that they put to bed in this one. Their first win in Game 1 at home since 1990. That's going to mean a lot moving forward, guys. The last couple of series, that wasn't the case against the Kings. How big a deal do you think Game 1 at home will end up being in this series?
I mean, I think it's important because they had to chase the last couple of years, and we know that they ended up winning, but 7 games 2 years ago, 6 games, a grueling 6-gamer last year. If you can set the tempo and stay in front, the last thing the Kings want to do is chase. Not chasing a game, not chasing a series. They're not constructed to be that team. And so this is an excellent opportunity for, I think, the Oilers to impose themselves here.
All about mental psyche as well. You win the first game, you can build off of it. Now, LA, when they go back to the hotel, they're going to say, all we were coming up here was for a split.
Right.
So that'll be the focus. Everybody's going to, it's all the lip service the next day. We're fine. We got the nerves out. But now the pressure is on LA because they're going to try and steal one here and head home and get home ice advantage. But it's always nice to get that first one. You can build on it.
Okay, that's nice to get the first game, but also really nice to get the first goal because LA's maybe one of those teams, Noodles, if you get a couple on them, it's a little bit harder for them to play the style that they want. The Oilers had 3 even-strength goals pretty early on in this game. That makes it hard for LA.
It does, because now all of a sudden you've got to open up that 1-3-1. And, Jim Hiller didn't like the way his team played. Chris Knobloch said it wasn't so much breaking the 1-3-1 as it was that we were turning pucks over. We were making them not manage the puck properly. So I really liked what the Oilers were able to do. It was quick in transition, move the puck, move your feet, and then get some good looks on Cam Talbot.
And there's a couple of big challenges here for LA, and I do think that they'll play much better in Game 2. But number one is, obviously, McDavid's line can't explode every night like that if you think you have a chance if you're LA. So there's that challenge there for either Danault or Kopitar. But the other thing for me, guys, is they had a line together tonight. Dubois, Byfield, and Fiala were grouped together. That's a lot of offensive skill in a line, and it's a line that often got a bottom 6 matchup from the Oilers, and they didn't get a lot of looks. That's not good enough. If you're LA and you're going to steal this series, you got to get more if that line stays together.
When you circle an X factor for the LA Kings, for me it was going to be PLD because he has the ability to be a bully. He has the ability to find the back of the net. So him being farther down in the lineup, you could hide him there and you talk
Right.
about matchups. But if you're not a difference maker in a positive way, to me, it just comes up flat. And I didn't love his game tonight. Yes, he gets on the scoreboard, but to me, it wasn't a dominant PLD game. And that's what they're going to need if LA's going to have any type of success.
I think another bit of good news for the Oilers was Evander Kane's presence in this game, guys, because he didn't play the last few games of the year, wasn't on the ice for 7 days, was on the fourth line at practice yesterday, and he ends up getting elevated to the third line for this game. Didn't have any points, but Pierre skated miles, tons of shot attempts, threw some hits. If he can be as engaged as it looks like he might be able to be, that's a big swing for the Oilers.
I would say inside that coach's room, that would be one of the topics after game 1 for Edmonton. A big sigh of relief that the player that's had clutch moments in these playoffs since he's been an Oiler, seemed to be back. Because I don't think they knew what they were getting with Evander Kane's return. He even had him out there in back-to-back shifts at some point. He stole a Dylan Holloway shift there. And so I think they wanted to give him as many looks as they could to find out where he was after being out.
I just talked about Pierre-Luc Dubois being a difference maker for the LA Kings. Well, Evander Kane is, and he has the ability to do that. So you give him an opportunity, especially when the game, Edmonton was in control of it for most parts. So you give him a little extra ice time, get him feeling good, confident about his game. You mentioned he's not littered all over the score sheet, but I thought he was a factor. And when he's skating and when he's hitting and he's shooting, that's what you need. Now you get him involved emotionally. It's another really tough situation that LA has to deal with.
Any debate on the panel here about the no-goal call, off the hand and in?
No, I mean, you can't redirect the puck with your hand. Otherwise, it's not hockey.
You could make the argument he was kind of coming down.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't necessarily purposely bat it in.
To me, it was a clear motion. Okay, I'm the goalie hugger. Right away, I told you guys, I'm like, that's no goal.
Whisperer.
Yeah, I know.
He did
Not
say in the press box right away.
Right away,
it was no
I said,
goal.
guys, that's no goal because I thought he punched at it. I kind of thought, yes, you can say, hey, he's trying to cross-check, he's trying to do things, but he looked like he punched at it, and then obviously the review showed it. So no goal. I know the league is trying to get more goals, but that one was illegal for me.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, agreed all the way across the panel here. Listen, fans will be excited about a Game 1 win. Analysts will say it's a big advantage Edmonton. The Oilers were not speaking that way at all. A very cautious approach to a 1-0 lead in this series. They'll skate tomorrow before Game 2, set to go later this week.